2 and number 3 are myself and Dagda. Our 90-50-10s, our 10%s were both about this squad, and so far they're doing work to help those come true.
We are one step closer to getting that world domination you're hoping for, but honestly it was great. I mean, Shun starts off with 2 quick kills on the bot side, and once this has started to go over, this is where I really started to get worried for 100 Thieves, because they are playing a composition that wants to try and play it through side lanes, but when Shun and that team fighting is starting to come online for Flying Oyster already, this is where it becomes a disaster. They can start to stack dragons, they can then force 100 Thieves to play these fights, but they did have a couple of good fights for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think at the end of the day, like, this was a great bullet time, you know, helping to actually turn that one around. Both NA teams that have played today played pretty similar drafts, both going for Fiora, both going for MF, both going for Sejuani, right? It is kind of a similar principle here. Yes, there's the changes in the LeBlanc and the Akali, but it does seem like our teams have a similar read on the meta, but it's very difficult to execute on these types of compositions. And when you are playing something like Fiora, if your bot side is doing poorly, you don't actually get time to open up the map and really extend the advantages that you want through those side lanes. It takes a really long time to really create advantages there. Now, 100 Thieves did try their best.
As the game went on, they would have liked to try and set up for these sort of flanks so you get Akali, Fiora into the back line, but because Mission had full control on side lanes, it was constantly pushing them in, having support from CFO. It made it very difficult then for 100 Thieves to have these fights until we got to this last one where Rest, I mean, take a bow. That was disgusting.
Yeah, your boy Aatrox back in the lineup, just pressing forward throughout that fight, sets up perfectly for the Kai'Sa ultimate. Triple kill coming through. I believe following that first Baron play, Shun was 8-0-0 on Kai'Sa. You can't approach that anymore, and sure, we'll take it back a little bit by getting a Baron steal, but it's a trade-off for nobody wants. Baron for the base.
And I think 100 Thieves did a decent job in the mid-game of trying to find moments where they could punish Flying Oyster, right? You saw them often trying to go towards Mission in that side lane where they're like, okay, Mission slightly overextended. Let's see if you can overload one side of the map, especially when CFO aren't really in a position to answer back in the cross map, but it just wasn't enough. You mean, you can see there, the 2 big team fighters in the Victor and the Kai'Sa were just doing so much work when it got to those late game fights.
I'm just so interested to see, you know, if people are going to allow Mission to continue playing towards comfort. You know, I talked about it, Victor, Azir, Talia, those are his big 3 that he's so comfortable on, that he really excelled on in the playoffs. They were willing to get that over, and he killed them for it. You know, that's Shun is the one picking up so many of these kills, but it's Mission who's doing the brunt of the damage,